Once upon a time, in a land 1,000 kilometres from Berlin, a baby girl was born to neither queen nor king. While her parents were not royalty, they did their best for Jo. There are no evil stepmothers in this fairy tale, you should know. The baby girl grew up, gentle, hard-working, shy, and couldn't have been happier as her childhood days passed by. But suddenly her life changed when she went to secondary school. The kids were mean and she stood out, and the world turned dark and cruel. And as the curse took over, Jo watched her confidence disappear, and from that day on she was quiet and lived with fear. She kept herself to herself and waited for things to change, hoping her knight in shining armour would come and chase her shyness away. And then when she was living in foreign lands alone, the winds of depression came howling round and made things worse for Jo. She decided to escape the thoughts whipping round her head and found a magic book of spells, which she then quickly read. The magic book taught her that she could lift her curse instead of waiting for her prince or letting things get worse. It introduced her to a world of magic and curious folk, and as she got to know them, the magic in her awoke. As she learnt more about this world, she heard of a special summit. She used all the golden coins she'd saved to buy herself a ticket. This was it, a dream come true, and no genie in sight. She packed her bags, took a deep breath, and boarded her US-bound flight. She arrived in Portland for WDS, excited beyond belief, but her excitement and delight were sadly far too brief. She tried to introduce herself and make friends and have fun, but all too soon the curse reared its head and she found herself overcome. With overwhelm and exhaustion, she retired to a hotel room, missing out on the socialising. She was engulfed by doom and gloom. She realised she hadn't been ready to get the most from the event, but now her precious golden coins had almost all been spent. She grew angry at her curse and vowed to banish it forever, and turn her hunt for confidence into more than a personal endeavour. She wanted to lift her curse and make notes along the way, so she could help other shy girls lift their own curses one day. She figured she would sit at her computer, working away alone. She couldn't afford any more transatlantic flights, she'd have to stay at home. She launched her site and started helping, and something began to click. She was making a real difference, this she thought was it. And then she heard about Alive, a conference in a land nearby, for other people just like her who were living for their why. She told all her friends about it. She thought everyone should hear about this incredible event, though she'd have to wait a year. She'd chosen a life of simplicity, working towards her dream of helping young girls like her to improve their self-esteem. All of her income she needed to pay her bills and rent, but then she heard about a curious YouTube tournament. The winner of the contest was to receive a prize, which, she could hardly believe, was a ticket to Alive. She tried her best and racked her brains. She wanted to win a pass, because, due to her hard work, the curse was lifting at last. This was her time, she was ready, of that much she was sure. She wanted to get out there and share her shyness cure. Her tribe was now starting to grow, full of damsels in distress, and she took it upon herself to ensure their happiness and success. She knew her girls were talented, with so much potential caught inside. It became her job to coax that out and help them come alive. But Jo still sometimes struggles with confidence and self-belief. She needed to see that what she wanted to do she really could achieve. She needed a boost of encouragement. She longed to be inspired, to see that magic was possible, to meet the people she admired. She wanted to meet the legends who slayed dragons and lifted spells, and to believe that she, Joanna Moore, could make a difference as well. She hoped that by being there for the inaugural year, she would be able to help the second time as a volunteer. She knew that being surrounded by people committed to growth, excitement would churn in her tummy, the ideas would start to flow. The threads would come together, she would start to thrive. That is what would happen, she would start to feel alive. Unlike most of the fairy tales, there's no happy ending here, and it is yet to be seen if Jo will get to Alive this year. She will have to wait to see whether or not she's won, but one thing I can tell you is for sure, her journey's only just begun.